So today we have a problem we have to solve as usual, but this time we have to factor it. Now I'm just going to write this completely in decreasing power order. So like this, x to the fourth plus 0x to the third power minus 7x squared plus 0x plus 1. Notice that these zeros don't change anything. And then, so the next thing we can do is we need to factor out as something times something, or two parentheses. So x to the fourth can be split into 2 as x squared, because x squared times x squared is x to the fourth. Cool. Now we have our first term. We also see this 1 back here. So they're both going to be plus 1 at the end. Now there's just this middle term we have to worry about. And so we can write the middle term here as ax and here as bx. And now we can just write this out. This is going to be x to the fourth power plus bx to the third power plus x squared plus ax to the third power plus abx squared plus ax, plus x squared plus bx plus 1. Now we can write this in decreasing power order, so it makes more sense. This down here is going to be x to the fourth plus bx to the third plus ax to the third plus abx squared plus 2x squared, since there are 2 of them. And now we get to the 1 digits, which is going to be ax plus bx plus 1. Now we can make parentheses signs for each factor here. So, like so. This is the first one still going to be x to the fourth. X to the fourth plus x to the third. We can take an x to the third out of this and this. That's just going to be a plus b. And we do the same thing. This is a little special. We take out the x squared. Inside we get ab plus 2. And right here we just do the same thing. We take out the x. Like I said, we take out the x, multiply it, and just, so this is a plus b, and this is all just plus 1 at the end. So now we see a pattern here. So this correlates to the top, x to the third, x to the third. Since they're being multiplied, so we know that a plus b is equal to 0, and right here. So there's an x squared here, and an x squared here, and a negative 7 here. So that means that ab plus 2 is equal to negative 7. Now these calculations are very simple, and when you calculate for what a is and what b is, you should get a is equal to plus or minus 3, and b is equal to minus or plus 3. These have to be alternating because it has to be 0. So we can get this formula and write it over here as x squared plus, let's say it's just plus 3 plus 1, 3x, sorry. And then over here, it's going to be x squared. Since it's plus here, this has to be minus 3x plus 1. And that is the first solution to this problem. Now, what I didn't explain earlier in the video was that there's actually a second solution. And to make it a lot simpler, let's let a equal x squared. Now we can put a into the equation. So x to the fourth, that's just a squared. So a squared plus, no, not plus, minus, sorry. Minus 7a plus 1. Now, our strategy here is to make this a square. And we can do that by adding 2a, because we think of the equation a plus b squared. Here, a squared plus 2a. Since we added 2a here, we have to subtract a 2a. Minus 7a plus 1. And there's a plus 1. This is all we need for an equation. So the equation here is going to be a plus 1 squared. And since they're both being subtracted, you can add those two terms together, minus 9a. Now you put x squared back to make it easier. So right here, it's going to be x squared plus 1 squared minus 9x squared. Now we have to make this a complete square. So we can write it up here. X squared plus 1 squared minus, well, what's the square root of 9? That's going to be 3. So it's 3x squared up here. So now what we do is we realize that this is another equation, the a plus b times an a minus b equation. So we can rewrite it. So it's going to be, well, this is a and this is b. So x squared plus 1 minus 3x, that's the minus b, and this is going to be x squared plus 1 plus b, or 3x. And this solution is way faster and simpler, but you have to know how to get a square and know the strategy.